You're looking live at Week 12 in college football. I'm your host, Coach Cass. I may be by myself today. I might be flying solo. Oh, wait, that's an incorrect statement. Our first co-panelist. Let me get this introduction. It says the West Coast is... No, that's not him. Our first panelist is one quarter of the greatest college football podcast of all time. He's the pride of the Texas State Bobcats. He's my favorite football player. Please welcome Hunter. What's up, bud?
What's up? No, not much.
Yep. Well, I know the link works, so... Oh! We're not a twosome now. We're about to be a group. Our next co-host says, the West Coast is the best coast. He's so cool to snap on. Named a color after him. And you can't spell Santa Cruz without S and C. Please welcome to the show, Cool Jude Santa Cruz.
What's going on, everyone?
What's up?
It's always fight on, but oh my goodness, please. We're having a hard time fighting anyone off.
We're just waiting on Lindsay right now. I'm sure he'll be
All right,
here
cool.
momentarily. Hunter. So y'all want to get it? Let's get us a pregame. Let's do something a little bit different pregame right now. Let's talk about some messages I put out there on Instagram over the week, and it has to do with coaches' suspensions and coaches being fired. Let's talk about the 900-pound gorilla in the room. Hunter, why did Jim Harbaugh agree to take the punishment levied by the Big Ten?
I think that he wanted to probably stop the distraction because you can still coach the team 6 days out of the week. You just can't coach them on game day. And I think that they trust Sherrone Moore enough. I would expect they're probably going to try to find an OC or someone to take something off of Moore's plate going into the Ohio State game. But my expectation is because it'd be a lot easier to take the suspension instead of pushing it out further and the Big Ten turn around and saying, all right, well, we're going to push the suspension out to the conference championship game, whatever, right? So I think they just want to kind of end the distraction so that way they could focus on, Maryland and then obviously Ohio State.
I think he knows that Maryland, he doesn't really have to worry about them. Ohio State, it doesn't matter. I mean, of course, it'd be a lot better probably if he was there. But being a rivalry game, that game is going to be, it doesn't matter if it's Harbaugh or if it's his assistant coach, coaching the team. That game is going to be a barn burner anyways. So I think he figures, let me just get these two games out of the way. And then I can go into the conference championship and the college football playoff and, run my team the way I'm supposed to run my team.
You got to think about it like this, too. Harbaugh is going to miss something pretty important, provided that they win on Saturday. Saturday will be Michigan's 1,000th win. That's big stuff. He wants to be there. I'd want to be there.
1,000th win?
Yes.
Yeah.
Michigan's
not game played, or it's 1,000th
win. Yes. Michigan's the all-time leader in wins in college football, followed by, I want to say, Nebraska's there.
I think it's no, Notre Dame lost like 30 wins, so put them way behind.
Oh. Hey,
it used to be Notre Dame used to be up there.
We're a full house tonight.
Check it out. I am going to do that.
Our next co-host is the longest standing assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club. He's the beast from the East, and he says, kids, eat your Flutie flakes. Please welcome to the show, Lindsay Coyle.
Hey, I'm still getting dressed here.
You're
messed up.
Your top five for wins.
Trying to do things.
Your top five for wins are Michigan at 999, obviously going for number 1,000. Number 2, Ohio State at 963. Number 3, Alabama at 962. Number 4, Texas at 945. Notre Dame's right up there at 945 as well. And then Oklahoma's at 6. Number 7 is Yale, 8 Penn State, 9 Nebraska, and 10 Harvard.
And lucky number 13.
Oh, yeah.
Your USC Trojans. coming in with 874.
They're certainly the highest by win percentage, or not necessarily win percentage, but they're way up there for a team that's played less than 1,300 games.
That's a good sign. Lindsay, what's going on?
Man, it's been a heck of a day. Busier than I can handle and running way behind.
Well, at least you made time for us. All right, let's talk about some coaches getting shit canned. I guess we can say that. We're 5 minutes into the stream. Some coaches got shit canned this week. And let's start off with the guy that's getting paid a whole lot of money not to do anything. Jimbo Fisher, $76 million to sit at home and play Madden.
Where can I get that at?
I am so jealous.
How can I be a
I couldn't fall into $6 to stay at home. It cost me $12.
First of all, if just staying home was an option, I'd take it. Getting paid that kind of money is just
it's ridiculous.
If I got paid $10 an hour to sit at home, I would. The guy's getting paid like something like 1,000. You know,
it's crazy.
A couple G's every minute.
I mean, it's safe to say that if the four of us put our and Hunter's got the potential to make tons of money as young as he is, but if the four of us put all of our money together when we're all in heaven,
I couldn't even make a monthly payment.
Yeah, we probably couldn't pay him for his first first year.
I don't know. We could pay a week. I'd like people to think I have a lot of scratch, but I ain't got. This is pretty face is what you got with me.
I have a government job, so I don't get paid.
We'd never be able to touch him, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then some other coaches got canned. Who we have? Andy Avalos got fired at Boise State, and they're in the middle of a coaching search. Or not a coaching search. They're in the middle of a chase for a conference title, and then Penn State fired their defensive coordinator, Mike Yurcich. He has some ties to Texas. Offensive coordinator, I'm sorry. And USC fired their defensive coordinator a week ago. Sorry, I'm a little slow tonight.
This is good.
There's a lot of guys.
The career changes in the works for any of us now. We have some openings.
Brady Hoke Brady Hoke's retiring, right? So, but this retirement's more like you can retire, we can fire you. You choose.
I was going to say it's kind of a forced retirement.
Yeah.
He's refired.
Well, I mean, the direction of the program is what San Diego State wants, and I can see why they're pushing him out.
But San Diego State, man, that's a party school. Even when they had their best players they've ever had, when they've had Marshall Faulk, Darnay Scott, Rashad Penny. Yeah, they had some players, or Dan McGuire, players that put up some great numbers for us, a 6-5 or 7-5 football team. That's just who San Diego State is.
Yeah, I think they're trying to find that next transition to where they can go and make the program a little bit more than the 6-5. They're trying to, like Boise State did in the early 2000s, find the right combination of coaches to move in that next level.
They need to jump in with
G5 football.
Oregon State and Washington State, and create the new Pac-12 or Pac-8 or whatever they're going to start with.
Yeah, actually, some news on that front is it's looking like I guess they're probably going to wait till the end of the season or next season to announce the what it's going to be. But basically, it's going to be a scheduling alliance, quote unquote, where every Mountain West school will play either Oregon State or Washington State, and then obviously they'll have their 7-game schedule. So it's basically like a 7+1 conference game model with the new Pac-2.
It's a 2-pack.
To start.
Not like Tupac, but 2-pack.
Well, I think that, with the situation out west as it is, and for some reason Oregon State and Washington State not getting a lot of national conference love, we're probably going to see the first move towards the relegation model in college football, just to find something to make it worth tuning to the games out west.
That's a 4-letter word to a lot of people right there, relegation.
There's only 4 letters in relegation?
No, it's like a 4-letter. I said it's like
I count
being too-
at least 5.
You're being too serious now. Okay. I digress. With that, a lot of guys got shit canned. There's gonna be a whole lot more people getting fired. I promise you that. Stay on our Instagram handle, and you're gonna see a whole lot of stuff. Maybe a community post or two, if I can ever figure out how to get Jude some information so he can log on to this thing. Let's
If I
talk
can
about
log
something
on,
before we
I'll put some stuff.
hop into the first quarter. I got to show some people some things so they know that I'm not lying. All right, Jude and Lindsay, what do those look like?
They look like Post-its.
On a clear plastic bag.
Yeah, precise, exactly. I have T-shirts for both of you. They're going in the mail this week.
Fantastic.
Oh, heck
Lindsay,
yeah.
you're not. I'm not
have
mailing
them
yours.
now.
I'm going to give it to you on Tuesday when I see you.
That'd be a waste of postage to mail it to me.
Yeah, I'm going to want my 79 cents back, Lindsay. Can I ask you for some gas money for bringing it to the work?
Oh, you're not going to need it now with the amount of truck
Yeah.
credit you got with me.
Oh yeah. Oh, would you sell some more stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to take a side break and find out what Lindsay sold for me?
I-
Does it rhyme with roll cart?
Come on, man. You know we're all
Bye to the
two
roll
guys.
cart.
What?
You say bye to the roll cart.
I was tired of people. The thing,
The snap on.
I can't even mention. That's no. I bought this thing with the intentions of selling it. I bought a green Matco or Mac roll cart, and I have like little or no money involved in this thing, and I just I had a car detailer detail it. They're detailing some cars for us, so I slipped the guy some extra bucks to detail mine. The detail was roll cart. We stuck it on Lindsay's truck. Well, I walk on one day and there's fingerprints all over. I'm like, dude, what the is going on? And Lindsay's like, oh, I'll clean it up. I'll clean it up. So he goes and gets some spray wax. He's scrubbing it down on the truck. And hell, it looked better after Lindsay wiped it down on the truck than it did after I had it detailed.
And I was slow at work one day, and I brought my home boxes. I went at lunch. I live close to work. At lunch, I went home and brought my first one day. I brought the cart. The next day, I brought one of my little roll cabinets, and I just hit it with the pressure washer and detailed my home boxes pretty good. they look pretty nice after.
They clean up pretty good. I'll say that.
Yeah.
All right. These shirts are for you know who. Bocce. I got your stuff done. I'm gonna mail it out this weekend. So be looking for that. And then we had another winner last week, JWC Tech, but I never got his address. He never emailed me.
Oh, I
So,
have his address.
I forwarded it to you.
I can send it to you.
Well, he's got to email me to acknowledge his victory.
Oh, okay.
Oh. All right. And then we need to talk about one more thing. Format for the fourth quarter this week. So how it's going to work, I've kind of told all y'all how it's going to work. So what we're going to do is each one of y'all are guaranteed 2 games. I've already pre-assigned it. I already know who's getting what. So you have 2 turnover abilities. You have 2 takeaways. So if I talk about a certain game, I give Jude New Mexico State at Auburn, and Lindsay wants to take this game. Jude can go and or Lindsay can go and intercept the game from Jude, right? You can go, I'm taking that game, right? But you only got 2 turnovers. You got 2 interceptions, or you got 2 fumbles. Now Jude can go fumble and he can strip the back end of that game out and give his analysis on it if he wants to. But that counts against his 2 turnovers. You don't have to use your turnovers at all. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But you'll get 2 games plus we got our G5 games of the week. So, but I might leave those up in the air. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then, of course, we have the worst 5 minutes in YouTube history. The games of the week that don't
GTPM.
matter.
Yeah, games that don't matter.
Yeah. Games that don't matter. All right. Now, this is kind of we're going to get into our salute to service. Let's talk about this first. We got to thank all our service members. We're on the heels of Veterans Week, the Marine Corps birthday, and all that is good with the military. We take our hats off to you. We thank you for your service, both past and present. We appreciate your service to our country, and we want y'all to know that we think about y'all constantly. With that said, let's talk about the service academies. Now, last week, the two D3 service academies faced off, and well, unfortunately, Lindsay's team won over my team, so that was the disappointment. But we're gonna go ahead and that was the last game for Coast Guard Academy. I don't know if Merchant Marine Academy has one more game or not.
No,
We'll have to
they're
look
done.
and see. But Coast Guard Academy's done, and they're gonna finish with a 500 record. But it's all right. This week we have a treat. We have an absolute treat. This game right here should qualify as our top 8 game. This should qualify as one of our G5 games of the week. But since we're celebrating our service members and our service academies, we're going to talk about UNLV at Air Force at 2:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. This game is going to happen at Falcon Stadium at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And y'all want to hear some news on this thing? Air Force is a 3-point favorite. After going to Hawaii and losing last week, they are a 3-point favorite in this game. Vegas says it takes 47.5 points to play this game. Now, we don't condone gambling, right? We're just merely using the numbers for a reference for you guys. So, Jude, that's your branch. What do you think about this one?
Oh man, that's going to be a good game, man. I'm glad we're talking about it. If 1 second, if Air Force plays the way they played against Hawaii, man, I don't think they stand a chance against UNLV. But man, I don't know what happened to Air Force there last week, and they just came in and didn't show up. We joked about it last week, Cass, when we were talking about them, the last game of the week, going into Hawaii, and just should just wallop them, and they just didn't show up. Hawaii scored a touchdown, well, almost a touchdown, unless they missed an extra point, I think, in every quarter, and Air Force just couldn't keep up with that. UNLV at Air Force, oh, man, I'm going to take Air Force because that's my team. I'm not going to ever pick against, my service academy team. I think it'll be a close game. What's the spread on this one? We know Air Force is a 3-point favorite, and over is 47.5.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man. All right, I'll take Air Force to cover, but I'm going to take the under for sure.
All right. Now remember, we don't condone gambling. This is just for reference purposes. All right. We got a few extra minutes at the moment because we're missing 2 service academies. Lindsay and Hunter, I'm going to give each of y'all 30 seconds to give your opinion on this game. Lindsay, go.
On the Air Force game?
Yes.
I like Air Force going in. Even though they really didn't turn in a great performance last week, I can't say it's going to be indicative of what they're going to do this week. So they're going to cover, and I'm going to take the over. So I'm looking to them to do some much better things now than they did last week.
All right. Hunter, 30 seconds.
I think it's just whoever controls the turnover battle. So just roll with that.
I wonder what UNLV's ground defense is like because they're going to get run out a bunch. That'll be the determination. If Air Force can successfully run the ball in 3 downs, they'll control the pace of the game, and they'll likely be the win. Or they'll win. UNLV's offense is pretty dynamic, in my opinion. I think that's a pretty good offense they have. Their offensive coordinator, of course, is a former Texas Longhorn coach, which we all like. But good luck to them. And their current coach at UNLV is a former Missouri head coach. So, all right, let's move over to Bocce's favorite team. That's the Army, and the Army is hosting at 11 a.m. on the CBS Sports Network, or we like to call it the Armed Forces Network, from Mikey Stadium in West Point, New York. Army's hosting the Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina. Now, Coastal Carolina got a victory last week against Texas State, Hunter's Texas State Bobcats, in what we'll call ref ball. And it was it was some good old fashioned home cooking there in South Carolina, but this week it's happening in New York. Hunter, you're gonna help me answer this one? Can Army pull off the upset of Coastal, or is Coastal going to go into Mikey Stadium and get the W?
Well, it's hard to compare the abilities of Army and Texas State because they're very different offenses. Army's had some games this year where you're like, nah, it's classic Army football, and they've had some games where it looks like they're trying to run an offense they've never ran before, and I think it's just real determinant on how Army chooses to attack Coastal. If they stick with the classic triple option, I think they'll beat them because I think Coastal's defense isn't built to stop the triple option. Now, if they try and go and run the spread offense they've tossed out a couple of games, it could end up that Coastal gets the win just by kind of scoring opportunistically and then just not turning the ball over. I think again this would be determined by a turnover battle. Coastal Carolina had 3 fumbles against Texas State, all of which they recovered, but obviously, and they've had a fumbling problem all year. And again, if you fumble to Army, you will lose. So no matter what offense they run, so I think it's just determined by the turnover battle and what Army chooses to do. But Army absolutely can beat Coastal.
All right, so I'm gonna start with Hunter. I'm gonna take Army on this one, and I'm gonna take the under. I'm saying 43.5 is too many points. All right, Jude, can you do me a favor? I lost the comments. Can you run the chat section for me?
Yeah. I've
All right.
been on it.
Do we need to give any shout outs while we're here?
Yeah, man. E came in, Theo Lombardi, welcome back, and Raging Cajun Garage, man. How you guys all doing? Of course, Bocce's here. She's been here since the beginning. And Boo's here also.
All right. Good deal. Hi to everybody that's joining us right now. If I miss you, I don't have comments. I don't know what's wrong. I have touched a button too many times, I think. Thoughts on the Army game? Coastal and Army? Lindsay?
Army has the ability to win this game, but they've had problems executing, and their defense hasn't been terribly stout. So I don't see them being able to right that ship at this point in the season, though if they can, that's going to be their keys to victory. But I do see Coastal Carolina pulling this one out. They're going to cover the 3-point spread, and I'm going to take the over because unless Army can stop them, there's going to be a fairly high-scoring game for Coastal Carolina.
Well, that is one wild pick. Unless Army can stop them, they're going to score a lot of points. Wow.
Yes.
That's like saying the team that scores the
Unless
most
Army
points
wins, they're
always
going to
wins.
lose.
No, I'm just,
Elite game.
This is why you tune in to listen to this
Elite
guy
game making.
give you all this.
I'm just.
I like how Lindsay's like, well, if this team scores more points, then obviously they're going to win. But if not, the other team scores more points, they're definitely going to win.
You now understand analysis for any sports team.
Yeah, fine.
Yes.
Lindsay's making okay, we're not going to call this a career because if we got paid at this job, boy, there's some suckers out there. Just the fact that we got 6 people watching this, I feel pretty blessed. All right, let's cover the last Service Academy game before we start running over. And this is an interesting fact. All 3 Service Academies are hosting at home this week at 11 a.m. on not the Armed Forces Network, on ESPN News from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. East Carolina, the Pirates take on the Midshipmen from Navy. Hunter, Navy's favored by 3, and this is the lowest point spread of the weekend at 31.5 points. What do you think is going to happen?
Iowa didn't meet that mark.
I don't know. I didn't look.
Big props to Navy for coming out against UAB and getting a big win. Played great offense and defense, and they really stuck to what's made Navy good in the past. I'm going to scoot over here. And that's just running the ball, right? Navy ran true triple option. They ran veer. They ran power T. If they come out and they play disciplined, consistent football where they average at 3.5 yards a carry against East Carolina, they are going to choke the game out very quickly. East Carolina got a big win against the FAU Owls last week. but I think that maybe they're hosting, they're hungry for a bowl game, and they gotta get this win, and I think that they will get it done against East Carolina. ESPN has a big prediction for East Carolina, which I'm not really a fan of, especially a team that's won all of 2 games and only one's a FBS win. So we'll see. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that East Carolina is going to make too many mistakes. Navy's going to exploit them. And again, they're going to just play ball control and choke the life out of the game as quickly as possible.
All right, you heard it here first. Jude or Lindsay, give me 30 seconds.
I'll give you 30 seconds. Even though East Carolina has a way better logo than the Navy midshipmen, I mean, let's face it, they mailed it in when they chose the letter N. I don't see them being able to beat them. Navy's simply much better than they are, even though both teams are under 500. Navy's going to have this one in the wraps by the time the second half begins. They're going to cover the spread of 3 points. And I will take the over, which is 31.5.
Man, our midshipmen would never lose to a bunch of pirates. Come on now. It's gonna be Navy all day.
I mean, are they Somali pirates or like old timey ARG pirates? What kind of pirates?
They look more like ARG, but
Well, those are tough customers back in the
I
day.
think they're pirates of the Bayou. They're ice
The
pirates.
Atlantic
I don't know.
Do they steal their cable?
It's North Carolina. It's not too far from the Outer Banks.
Yeah, they tapped into the neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Hey,
All right.
Can I go off topic and just ask the panel a question?
Yes.
Right now, there's a pretty steady, other than Georgia overtaking Ohio State, but they're both undefeated. 1, 2, 3, and 4 is pretty solid. Washington's next at number 5 as an undefeated team. But for one-loss teams, who do you guys think, and why do you guys think the team that you pick is the most deserving one-loss team should someone falter or 2 teams falter?
Texas, because they're Texas.
Texas marched into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama, the worst that Nick Saban's ever been beat in a regular season game.
That's my point. I mean, everyone's saying that because with the eyeball test that is Oregon, but Oregon's best win is either a 3-loss Utah team or a 4-loss USC team. Alabama's or Texas's best win is against a team that's in consideration as one of the best 1-loss teams, but just by process of elimination, Alabama's out. Texas would have to 2 games for Alabama to jump them.
Yeah. Well, the good news is everybody in front of Texas has to play each other. So it's all going to get resolved. I mean, it's all going to work itself out.
Except Washington.
Washington still has to play Oregon State in the Pac-12 championship.
And they got to play the Apple Cup, which is always chaos waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll make the argument
it's not guaranteed.
Over Oregon.
Texas has to go to Iowa this weekend. They're going to go play in Ames, and Iowa State is not the easiest place to play at night. But, if they win there and they win against Texas Tech and they go to the Big 12 championship game and one of these other teams does make their championship game, that's going to give them the foothold there. And plus, we start talking about brand images going in there. Who do you think is going to go in? Do you think Oregon's going to go over Texas? Brand to brand, and Oregon doesn't play in a conference championship game?
I don't know, man. Nike's got put some oomph in their brand, but I'm leaning,
Texaco has a little bit of brand too.
Yeah. My pick is Texas just over who their one-loss, who their best win, going by best win.
But the good news is, like I said,
I think Oregon's loss is a better loss than Texas's loss.
Is it?
I mean,
we don't know. I mean, we have to play we got to play the rest of the season too, though, because say Washington loses the next 2 games, they lose to Washington State. That's like losing to Kansas or Oklahoma State. So does that make it?
I'll make the argument against Oregon at least. Oregon's beaten 2 teams above 500 this whole season. Everyone else is below 500, and sure, Oregon's going and blowing everybody out compared to Texas, who likes to have these fourth quarter theatrics. And you can sit there and say, "Oh, that proves something." I don't think it does, right? piling on style points doesn't make you a good team, right? It just means that you can score against, you can score in garbage time and not let it get close again. Like, you have one team that's proven that can hold on to wins. I guess you have another that says, "Oh, I can finish." But again, Oregon has beaten Utah, who doesn't have a quarterback. They dominated them, but let's be real, Bryson Barnes wouldn't be a starting quarterback if
They beat USC
Kyle Whittingham had a choice.
as a quarterback, apparently.
And USC doesn't have a defense, and USC played really well, I thought. And Caleb Williams made some mistakes, but if USC had a functional defense and I think a bit better offensive line, their offensive line is kind of sneakily not great.
I'll take one.
If they had those things going for them, if the non-quarterback talent was equal on USC and Oregon, I think that USC would have ran away with that game with no problem. Like I said, Oregon's going to play Washington again. I don't think they'll win the rematch either. I don't think they're going to beat Oregon State, but that's a conversation for next week.
All right, let's get into it. We got to get into the conference breakdowns. We got to start running. We're 5 minutes behind, so I want to hustle you guys through there. Lindsay, we're starting with you in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Okay.
Currently, you've got Boston College and Pittsburgh in a 16-24 battle with about 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. BC is driving to try to tie up the game. So we'll keep y'all apprised on that. We can't give you any updates on that. But we can start with a game that probably should be in the game, in the fourth quarter, but it's not. And that's the number 10 Louisville Cardinals are traveling to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, to take on the U at 11 a.m. on ABC. Now, the U had to go back to their original starting quarterback after their new starting quarterback got hurt in the game. And it's just kind of a mess down there in Miami. Lindsay, what's that?
They had to go with Plan A.
Yeah, Plan B got dropped. So, Lindsay, give me a quick synopsis on this game.
It will be one of the more exciting games of the weekend. I can't wait to see it. I like Louisville's chances a lot in this, even though Miami's favored to win by the spread is 1 on this one, and the over-under is 46.5. I like Louisville's chances a lot, although I have liked the way Miami's been playing all year. Should be one of the more exciting games. I'm going to pick Louisville to win, though, and go against the betting line on this one. So I'll take them to win, and I'll take the over on points.
All right. From Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, at 2 p.m. on the CW Network, the Virginia Cavaliers host the Duke Blue Devils. I don't think it matters who's playing quarterback this week. Lindsay, does Duke smash Virginia?
Oh, yes, easily, handily. It won't be a contest. Maybe it'll be competitive in the first quarter, but after that, it's going to be Duke all the way. They're going to easily cover the spread at 3.5. Look for the over. The over-under is right now at 46.5.
All right, at 2:30 p.m. on NBC from Notre Dame Stadium in beautiful Notre Dame, Indiana, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons travel take on number 19 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Do the Demon Deacons have anything for the Irish in this one?
They're going to give it a go. I like the way they're playing, even though they have a losing record. I've enjoyed watching them, and I think that they're able to stay competitive against a lot of teams this year, even though they're on the losing end of a lot of contests. So look for Wake Forest to give them a fight up until the end of the first half, maybe. But after that, Notre Dame really is the better team. I see them walking away with this one in the third quarter. The point spread on this one is 24.5 with an over-under 46.5. I'm going to take the under. I'll take the I don't think Notre Dame's going to cover the spread, and I'll take the under.
All right. At 2:30 p.m. from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, the North Carolina State Wolfpack travel take on the Virginia Tech Hokies. What do you give me a quick synopsis on this game, Lindsay?
It should be worth watching if you're inclined to watch this one. But I don't know how exciting it's going to be, given that the Wolfpack should win handily later in the game. I see them walking away with this one, but stick around in the first half anyway. See something that's fairly competitive. The over-under on this one's 42.5. The spread is only 2.5. So I'm looking forward to be interesting anyway. Maybe a good entertaining game. But ultimately, it's going to be the Wolfpack to win. So they'll also get the over of 42.5 for the game.
All right, at 5:30 p.m. on the CW Network from Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. This game should be in the game of the week that doesn't matter, but it's not. We have the number 4 Florida State Seminoles hosting North Alabama. 10 seconds, Lindsay. 10 seconds.
I really like Florida State this year. I don't see them losing much. And given how they are consistently playing high caliber ball every week, I'm going to pick them to win this one. Though it will be close, I think. Maybe they win by a touchdown, maybe a little bit less. But I look for them to put in a really good effort and come out on top in the end, although we'll be back and forth all game.
All right. That's going to wrap up. Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry. At 7 p.m. on the ACC Network from Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets host the Syracuse Orange. What do we got on that one, Lizzie?
I've got. I had thought about this one a while because you're seeing two fairly evenly matched teams going at it. They both have similar records. They've both been playing similarly well this year. I will admit that I was surprised that Georgia Tech has shown to be as good as they are. So I'm going to take them to edge out Syracuse late in the game. The spread on this one's 6.5. I don't think they're going to cover it. And I will take the under, which is currently at 53.5.
All right, that's going to wrap up the ACC for week number 12. And we're going to hop over to the MAC. And the good news is on the MAC, I got one game to cover on Saturday, and that's Kent State at Ball State at 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Schumann Stadium in Muncie, Indiana. Ball State running away. That's all you need to know on that one. That's going to conclude the MAC. Now, let me give you some MAC news. Okay, so the best team in the MAC is Toledo, and Toledo is 9-1, something like that. And Toledo had to come back from behind and beat Bowling Green 32-31. Now Toledo's going to match up with Ohio, who pulled out a pretty seamless victory against Central Michigan last night, and they're led by their quarterback Curtis Rourke, who's pretty good. And so this is going to be a pretty stellar matchup. Now, this is what we want to see. We want to see a team later on that I want to talk about play this team, and I'm talking about James Madison. I want to see James Madison play either Toledo or Liberty, and I think it would be what we would call the G5 National Championship. So there's a game that we need to cheer for because I think James Madison
has a word.
What's that?
I want to see James Madison play Colorado.
Oh, that'd be a brutal murder. All right. Jude, since you're calling your shots, let's go and the Mountain West. Let's talk about the Mountain West, the leader on the West Coast right now. And we're going to start with Hawaii at Wyoming. This is 1 p.m. There's no TV coverage because anytime you play Hawaii, you go into an immediate blackout. And this is at Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, Wyoming. And you get tickets for this game starting at $10. So if you want to watch, you're in Laramie, Wyoming, you want to go watch some college football, $10 will get you a seat. What do you think on this one, Jude?
An 8 a.m. start, Hawaii Rainbow time. Wyoming's a 13-point favorite. It's a 45.5-point spread. I would look for Wyoming to win and cover. The over-under is going to probably be under, though. So look for Wyoming to win 27-10.
All right, next game with no TV coverage at 2 p.m. from Canvas Stadium in Fort Collins, Colorado. The Nevada Wolfpack traveled to take on the Colorado State Rams. Tell me why we should listen to this on the radio.
Because you don't have a TV. But that's the only reason I could think someone might want to try to find this one on the radio. But Colorado State's 11.5-point favorite, 46.5-point over under. Again, look for the under and look for Nevada to cover, but Colorado State to win.
All right, we already covered UNLV at Air Force, and that's a 2:30 kick on CBS Sports Network, and that's at Falcon Stadium at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Definitely, we already covered that one. We're leaning heavy on Air Force. The next game at 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network from Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah. We have the Boise State Broncos taking on the Utah State Aggies. Now, Boise State just replaced their head coach, so is Boise State going to have this big, revived win, or are they going to be dragging ass and get beat by Utah State Aggies?
Both teams come in at 5-5. Boise State's actually a 3.5-point favorite, with the over/under being 64.5. I'd look at Utah State actually to win this game. Take the under again. I'm going for low scores this week, but Utah State will win by more than 3.5 points.
All right, that other team in New Mexico, the New Mexico Lobos, traveled to Bulldog Stadium in Fresno, California at 9:30 p.m. Central Time on FS1 to take on the Fresno State Bulldogs. I think it's an easy win by Fresno State here. What do you think, Jude?
Yeah, Fresno State, after getting clobbered by San Jose State last week, and they're going to bounce back, and they'll handle the 23.5-point spread and take the over under 56.5.
All right,
Not
at 9:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network from CEFCU Stadium in San Jose, California. We have the battle of the San State games here. San Diego State travels to take on San Jose State. What do you got, Jude?
I would take San Jose State to cover. San Diego State's having a horrible year. San Jose State's running hot right now. They had a big win over what was an 8-1 Fresno State team. Gave them their second loss of the season. So San Jose State's playing well. They're playing at home. Take them to cover the 14.5 points and take the over on the 48.5.
All right, Hunter. Well, let's travel over to the conference of the USA, the CUSA, and we're going to start with our first game. The Massachusetts Minutemen take on the Liberty Flames at 12 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia. I think that's where they make the whiskey at. Can you tell me what we got on that game, son?
I think it's Lynchburg, Tennessee. But
No, where the liquor's made?
Yeah. Anyway,
I
I think Liberty's going to run away with this one. No doubt about it. UMass is a better team this year than they have been in years past, but let's be real, they're a 3-9, 4-8 team. Yeah, Liberty's going to crush them. Move on to their next victim.
All right. Our next game comes from Burgess Snowfield in Jacksonville, Alabama. And we got the Louisiana Tech. What are they, son? Louisiana Tech.
Bulldogs
take on the Jacksonville State
Gamecocks.
Oh, yeah, the Battle of the Cocks. I forgot. How I should forget. All right, does Jacksonville State improve their record and beat Louisiana Tech?
I'd be really worried if they didn't. I don't really foresee Sonny Cumbie's crew putting together anything positive. You look at the news coming out of Ruston there. It's not good. I think Jayville State's going to go ahead and put the final nail in the coffin of the Sonny Cumbie era there in Ruston. And it's an 8-point spread. I see Jayville State covering that and, blowing the doors off of it. I don't think Louisiana Tech's got anything for them. I think they're dead in the water program, and I think Jayville State's looking to put them down. All
right. From Johnny Red, Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, we got the UTEP Miners traveling to take on the Middle Tennessee State
Blue Raiders.
That's why I got you here, son, because you can answer every mascot in Division I. All right. Does Middle Tennessee State beat Utah handily?
I think so. UTEP. But
UTEP.
Yeah, I think so. These are both teams that had a lot higher expectations coming into the season. I think Middle Tennessee State's had a lot of bad breaks. They've played a lot of good teams really close, and I think they probably, some penalties don't happen. Maybe a quarterback's a little more careful with the football. I think they're a well-coached team that just had a lot of bad breaks, and it kind of happens in these lower-level programs that sometimes ball doesn't bounce the right way, and your season goes down the drain. I think Middle Tennessee State takes care of business though against UTEP, secures a fourth win, and then looks to make 5-7 at least makes the season a little bit more swallowable.
All right, you got to check this next one out. I got a whole thing planned here. There's a lot of words I got to go through. All right, from Hawkins Industry, LT Smith Stadium in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the Prison City Bearcats take on the Western Kentucky Grimaces at 2:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And if you want to go watch this game in person, tickets start as low as $6.
If you're a resident of central-ish Kentucky, probably worth the trip as long as it's not more than an hour. for $6. You know, go in there, get a ticket, get a hot dog, get a beverage of your choice.
Is there a winner in this game?
I mean, it's got to be Western Kentucky. You know, I think they win. I mean, Sam Houston's obviously reeled off 2 whole wins this year, so congratulations to the Bearcats for not finishing the season 0-12. Of course, they did beat again a bad Louisiana Tech team. We can talk about that later. I think Western Kentucky wins. I think it's probably a close game. I don't like this 12.5-point spread. Western Kentucky struggled to cover all season. I don't foresee them doing it this week. But I'm still going to roll with the Hilltoppers. I think they're wearing chrome helmets this week. So if they do, they'll win guaranteed. If they don't, then, you know, I don't know. Chrome helmets, they might cover the spread.
All right, let's get on to our next game. And when this team scheduled this opponent, I bet they thought they were going to get an easy win. And now I bet they were kind of nervous. At 3 p.m. on the SEC Network from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, the Auburn Tigers host the New Mexico State Aggies. And if there was an upset winner to be picked right here, this might be it right here. This is a really good team. I watched New Mexico State play a couple weeks back, and I was like, holy crap, these guys can really play. Like, you know, when you think New Mexico, you're like, W for the other team. I'm nervous for Auburn right now. What do you think, bud?
You know, Auburn's got to be very careful. They should out-talent New Mexico State at every level, but Diego Pavia is a boomer bust player, but when he's booming, he's hard to compete with. He goes and makes so many wild plays, and it can really demoralize teams, especially one that's brand new, put together like Auburn is. They still haven't secured that quarterback position to Peyton Thorne or to the other guys, Robbie Ash or anything like that. We'll see how it goes, but you know, Auburn's got to be really careful not to overlook New Mexico State. Looking at that Alabama game that they play host to, because I know they believe they can win this year, but man, they gotta focus on this week right now instead of worrying about Alabama.
All right, at 6:30 p.m. on ESPNU from Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the Florida International. We don't care what they are. Takes on Arkansas Razorbacks.
Golden Panthers.
Is this the last win in the Sam Pittman era at Arkansas, Hunter?
I mean, I'll make the argument Arkansas shouldn't fire Sam Pittman. But anyway, they should win. If they don't, then they'll fire him. I'll say if they don't win, they should fire him. But they should win. I don't know about this 29.5-point spread. We'll see. But I'm going to go with Razorbacks easily.
Well, if you're in the Fayetteville, Arkansas area, it's $4. You might spend the $4. I mean, it might cost you more to park. Gas to the game might be more expensive. Anyways, I digress. That's the Conference USA, and that's Week 12 in Conference USA. And we're going to run back over to the Pac-12 and talk to our man, Cool Jude Santa Cruz, about what's going on in the Pac-12. And we're going to start with a Friday game, which, believe it or not, I'm going to lean towards Coach Prime and Team Prime. Colorado travels to Gessa Field in Pullman, Washington to take on the Washington State Cougars. This game starts at 9:30 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Jude, tell me why Coach Prime and the Prime Buffaloes are going to beat Washington State.
Because I think they're the better team. They should go in there and handle them. Washington State's a 4-point favorite. They're on a 6-game skid, though, and that's never good. You know, Coach Prime's got to get his kids up, and you know, I don't know if they still have recruits coming. Well, they can't really go to a road game, but talking to recruits, you know, did you hear about? I guess other schools are telling their recruits don't go to Colorado because Coach Prime's going to Texas A&M. So,
oh man! All right, I think Colorado's going to win this game for 2 reasons. Number one, I think Colorado matches up well against Washington State. There are going to be a ton of points. Whatever the over is on this one, go way over on this one. Colorado played pretty well last week. I was pretty impressed with them, how they played against Arizona. Arizona is no joke. I think that Colorado plays well and wins this game. I'm with Jude on this one. And we're going to move on to – I gotta skip a few here, Jude. I'm sorry, man. We got some of these Pac-12 games in our games of the week. We got number 6, Oregon, at Arizona State at 3 p.m. on Fox from from Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, the beautiful, bustling metropolis of Tempe, Arizona. Jude, does Oregon secure a victory against Arizona State?
Absolutely. 23.5 point spread, 53.5 over under. And Oregon's probably going to hit that over under by themselves. They're definitely going to cover the spread. Look for them to win 50 something to 20 something.
All right. From Stanford Stadium, Stanford, California, at 5:30 p.m. on the Pac-12 Network. One of the oldest rivalries in all of college football, the Cal Bears travel to take on the Stanford Cardinal. Jude, do we have another incident on the field where the band members get run over?
The band is on the field. The band is on the field. No, I don't think so. But I'm like Cal in this game going into Stanford. I'm not very far from them, but Cal should go into Stanford and handle them. Cal's a 6 favorite. Over under is 55.5. Take Cal to cover, but take the under.
You know, it was bad for me is there's not a person at this field that I'm smarter than. You know, everybody that's going to be at the stadium watching the game, the people sweeping up the trash afterwards, all have me dominated. You know what I mean? Like Cal, Stanford. Those are like two really good schools. Everybody associates like there's old dumb old Cass here, you know, kicking rocks outside the stadium. Everybody else doing quantum. They get the janitor doing quantum physics. All right, that's going to wrap up the Pac-12. Jude, I'm sorry, 3 Pac-12 games in the Final 8. But you should be thankful the 3 Pac-12 games are in the Final 8. But really, it's like 10 with the game or with the G5 game of the week. All right, Lindsay, the Southeastern Conference is calling your name, and we're going to be calling that name after halftime. Oh, gotcha.
Teaser.
Is it halftime yet? We do 15-minute quarters, 30.
Probably.
Yeah, we're only over by 10. We should be in the third quarter right now. But let's move over to halftime. We just skipped over it, you know, just like no big deal. Let's talk about the Heisman Trophy. Who wants to talk about the Heisman Trophy with me?
Sure.
Why not?
All right. Jude, who are your top 5 Heisman hopefuls?
Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., but JJ McCarthy. I'm forgetting someone. The
Maserati Marv.
The kid from Florida State, the quarterback. And my 5th pick. Wow. Who else is still really
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. He'd be nice to get in there.
All right. Lindsay, your top 5.
Remaining number 1 on my list is Michael Penix Jr. He keeps impressing everybody, and dare I say he's exceeding expectations as high as they already are. So he's still top of the heap in my book. I like Jaden Daniels and Jordan Travis as a 2 and 3. And I want to bump Bo Nix up on my list from where he was last week. I'm going to put Bo at number 4 and Marvin Harrison Jr. will round it out at number 5.
All right, Hunter, what do you got?
I'm going to go just because the noise around him's gotten up to a point where I think that's probably going to provide him a good spot. Bo Nix, obviously. Number 2, I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think, even though he doesn't have the best wide receiver stats this year, he has the best wide receiver stats on a team that needs him to have them. So he is the Ohio State offense, and he's winning them games every week. And then I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. A lot of noise is being made about him having 3 losses. I mean, I can make the argument that those aren't his fault. His defense gives up like 1,000 yards a game. He produces offense like a machine. He had one game where he didn't do great against Alabama, but he still put up 400 yards of offense. Usually that's pretty good to win. And then at number 4, I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr. I think that his play – he hasn't won the last 2 games for Washington. The run game and the defense have won it for Washington both the last 2 games. So we'll see when he's put in a situation where he has to win the game, what he does. And then number 5, I'm going to go with Jordan Travis. He's the leader of one of the grittiest teams in America in the Florida State Seminoles.
All right. I'm going to give my top 5 real quick, and I'm going to start with Jordan Travis. I think Jordan Travis is the quarterback of the best team in the ACC. You like I did that? I think he's also the best quarterback in the top 4. Once you get outside of the top 4 teams in America, maybe that changes a little bit. My second one is going to be Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is the human highlight reel. If you like offense, then you need to tune into any game that LSU's playing, and Jaden Daniels is going to be in. Third one will be Michael Penix Jr. I think his quarterback play has dropped drastically, but he's hidden on a team that's really good, that's making him look a lot better. But I think he's a detriment to the team right now, and I think we're going to see that on Saturday. I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 4, just because the Big Ten's got to have somebody in there, and they want him in there. His stats aren't that great, but he'll get a mention. And then the 5th one will be Bo Nix. If Oregon doesn't play in the conference championship and they don't play in the CFP, or they're not in the talk of it, Bo Nix won't get in. It's just the way it works. So that's my top 5. All right, that was fun. Halftime. It's over. Let's move on to the third quarter. We got a lot of stuff to cover, guys. All right, we're traveling over to the Southeastern Conference in Lindsay at 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus or the SEC Network, however you choose to watch it, from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Chattanooga Chews come and take on the number 8 Alabama Crimson Tide. Hey, look, let me have my joke. All right, do I need to get my sunglasses out on you? All right, Lindsay, is Alabama able to eke out a win versus Chattanooga?
Oh, boy, let me see. Yes, they will. This will not be close. It's going to be Alabama all the way. This is going to be one of those games where Alabama is just going to start fast. They're going to keep a high-paced game going forward, and they're just going to continue to roll right on through the second half of the game and never look back. I'd expect Alabama's going to put a lot of points on the board, and Chattanooga will just be winded probably by the end of the third quarter. So
what you're saying is, if you're a fourth stringer on Alabama, expect some playing time this weekend?
That would be great. I love it when those guys get some playing time. A, they need it. B, it's fun to see them play. So I would hope so. But if not, just look for Alabama to steamroll Chattanooga. They're going to win by at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. It won't even be close.
All right. So this is basically the week. Yes, dude. You don't have to raise your hand. We're all adults. You can just interrupt.
Oh, no, I'm just Theo Lombardi. I want to throw his picks in there. He's got Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Penix Jr. as his top 3. And he's asking if we think Milroe from Alabama will be a finalist if they win the SEC. I think Milroe maybe next year is what I told him. But
I mean,
yeah,
he could be a finalist coming up. He has to continue to score rushing touchdowns because for some reason college football overvalues a quarterback that runs the ball.
And he's on the cusp, too. He's one of these guys that has been on the outskirts. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the guys that are a solid top 5 right now kind of falls out. He could certainly find himself in that conversation, sure.
But I posit you the question, if Quinn Ewers throws for multiple touchdowns a game the next 3 weeks and Texas marches to the playoff, does he get to go to New York as well?
Well, that's a really good question. I would tend to think that he
can't
would.
answer that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Lindsay, let's get back on track real quick. And more games that don't really count. This is not a game of the week that doesn't matter, by the way. This is not one of them. At 11 a.m. on the ESPN Network. All right, I'm just telling you right now, if you have $2 in your pocket, you can go watch UL Monroe play at Ole Miss for $2. 2, not 1, but $2 from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. I don't know that drinks are that cheap at the game. You can go watch the Warhawks from UL Monroe take on the Ole Miss Rebs. Give me something. If you're a referee and your pay is coming from the gate of this game, you're pissed off right now if you see tickets going for $2.
Good thing they have salary in college football.
If by take on Ole Miss, you mean lose to Ole Miss, yes. It's not going to be much of a game. This might be a yawner. That's why I would not be inclined to watch it myself. And if I had $2, I'd put
Lindsay just fumbled.
Who?
Lindsay's just fumbling. We can use that right now, or does it have to wait to the?
Yeah,
Why do you want to use it on this?
Well, I just want to say.
Oh, that's because Jude's like, man, I want to call this game so bad.
Lane Kiffin is going to be. I mean, have his team so riled up after coming up, getting smashed by Georgia last weekend that.
Jude, what are we going to do next year whenever Lane Kiffin's the coach at Texas A&M?
Oh, don't say that.
Are you gonna wear maroon? Are you gonna put on a Gig'em shirt?
Oh, gross.
But
Texas. If they hire Lane Kiffin, they fired Lane Kiffin to hire Lane Kiffin. Just think about it like that. All right, I digress. On to the next game at 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus from Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Lindsay, give me. We're gonna have to kind of speed up on these. Just give me the nuts and bolts version, Cliff Notes version, real quick.
Look for Mississippi. Yes, that's what happens when two teams are from the same place, and it has a lot of letters in it. Look for Mississippi State to pull this one out late in the game. I'll settle one by a touchdown.
All right. At 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus from Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, the fighting Texas A&M Aggies host really probably a tough opponent here, the Abilene Christian. I can't remember what they are. Hunter. You got echo.
It's not going to be much of a game. A&M's going to win. And there's not a whole lot to say about this. It's one of these lopsided mismatch games.
All right, I'm going to give you a chance to make a call on this game at 3 p.m. from Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. The New Mexico State Fighting Aggies take on the Auburn Tigers. What we got on this one, Lindsay?
I like Auburn on this one. I've enjoyed the way they played, and I think that they will come out ahead on this one by about 10 points.
All right, at 6:30 p.m. on the ESPN. That's that four-letter network. From Memorial Stadium in Far Rot Field, Columbia, Missouri, Florida Gators travel to take on the number 9 Missouri Tigers. And if I tongue-tied any of that, I apologize, but that was a lot of. What we got there, Lindsay?
Normally, in a fight between a Gator and a Tiger, I would take the Gator to win. Not so in this case, because we're talking football. Missouri's going to win easily. They're gonna walk all over poor Florida, even though Florida has been showing some pretty big signs of life this year. They're not going to have what it takes against Missouri.
All right, from Vietnam, Arkansas, Razorback Stadium. If you got $4, you can go to this game. Florida International travels to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. Give me 10 seconds, Lindsay.
Arkansas doesn't need home field advantage to win this one. They'll pull it out by 2 touchdowns.
All right. From Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. On the SEC Network. The Kentucky Wildcats travel to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. What we got on this one?
Kentucky. I like what they've been doing. I like their chances against this particular matchup, even though they're going into hostile territory. Look for them to pull out a win in a close game. Maybe they'll win by a field goal or a touchdown at the most.
From Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, we got the Georgia State Panthers traveling to take on the number 15 LSU Tigers. This game happens at 7 p.m. on the ESPN2. And just remember, whenever Ed Orgeron got fired by LSU, he goes, what did he say, Hunter?
He said, He said, what time, what door do you want me out of, boss?
Good impression.
And as the late great Colonel Sanders said, I'm too drunk to taste this
chicken. All right, Lindsay, what do you got on this one?
LSU's going to win this one handily. It's not going to be very close. They should pull it out by, I'm going to guess, about 17 points.
All righty. That's going to wrap up the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. We're going to hop on over to the Big Ten, since I haven't got to talk in a while, and we're going to cover some Big Ten games. Rutgers travels to Beaver Stadium in University Park, Pennsylvania at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports 1 to take on the number 12 Pitt State Nittany Lions. I don't know. I'm just fumbling all over the joint here. I would like to tell you that the Hitmen from Rutgers are going to do well. And in fact, Rutgers at their home games, they play the theme song from The Sopranos to run out on the field with. So if you think the Hitman thing is a joke, I was being serious. I'm going to take Penn State to win here. At 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network from Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana, the Michigan State Spartans travel to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. I'm leaning Michigan State here. Indiana's not very good. At 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network from Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois, the Purdue Boilermakers travel to take on Northwestern. Northwestern just secured their coach. Said he's a good stabilization factor for the team. So I'm going to say Northwestern wins this game, and Purdue's pretty terrible. At 2:30 p.m. from Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, Iowa. On Fox Sports 1, the Illinois Fighting Illini travel to take on the number 16 Iowa Hawkeyes. And Hunter, you're right. Iowa tied them for the lowest points total of the weekend at 31.5 points. I'm going to take the under. There's no way they're scoring 31 points in this game. No way. I'm thinking like 7-0. I can't read that.
It's either 3 Z's or 3 2s.
Oh, he's going to bed on that game.
Sleepy.
All right. So we're all on that one. All right. At 3 p.m. on the Big Ten Network from Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Trap game, if I've ever seen one. The Ohio State Buckeyes at number 2 are going to host the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And Ohio State needs to be on upset alert. I think Ohio State gets upset this week. Minnesota travels into the Horseshoe and beats the Ohio State Buckeyes. And then finally, the nightcap for the Big Ten from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. We're definitely going to get to listen to Jump on this one. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, searching to get bowl eligible, travel to take on the Wisconsin Badgers, who are just hoping to ruin their season one more time. This game happens at 6:30 p.m., and my buddy Jude's going to agree with me on this one. He thinks that Wisconsin's going to get the easy W against Nebraska. Don't you, Jude?
Yes, sir.
We're going to do jump around when it starts playing there at Wisconsin. We'll both be jumping on the couch. Probably not. But anyways, that's going to wrap up the Big Ten, and we're off to the Big 12. And our Big 12 correspondent is Hunter. Hunter, let's talk about number 14 Oklahoma traveling to Provo, Utah at LaVell Stadium at 11 a.m. to take on BYU on ESPN. What do you think is going to happen on this one, bud?
Unless 2000 or 1990s Steve Sarkisian student of a quarterback, I don't see BYU have much of a shot here. BYU is a tough, gritty team, but they don't have anything for Oklahoma. It's not at night.
All right, at 1:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus from the crushed pill capital of the United States, the Cincinnati Bearcats travel to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers. What?
Oh man, Anyway, this is a classic rivalry.
I have proof. I have video proof of it.
This is a classic rivalry from the Big East days. I think West Virginia goes ahead and beats Cincinnati. Cincinnati hasn't really shown me anything that makes me go, man, they're a good team. I don't see it. West Virginia is a grittier team. They're going to get that 7th win this week against Cincinnati.
All right, at 2:30 p.m. on the Big 12 ESPN Plus network from Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas, the Baylor Bears travel to take on the TCU Horned Frog. What do you got on this one, Hunter?
The Revivalry, or they won't call it the Blue Bonnet Battle, which I think is chicken. It's called the Revivalry. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Christians out of Fort Worth over the Baptists out of Waco here. TCU has shown that they don't give up. The game against Texas, the other games this year, they've constantly fought to win, except for the K-State game. So we'll see. But I'm gonna roll with the Horned Frogs here.
All right, at 4 p.m. on FS2 from Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock, Texas, the UCF Golden Knights travel to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and they're going to have frozen tortillas thrown at them, aren't they, Hunter?
Yes, they will.
And if you've never seen this before, Texas Tech takes frozen tortillas and they throw them in I can tell you right now, a frozen tortilla disappears into the field like if you take a fluorescent light bulb and spike it into the ground. They both disappear at the same rate, and you won't be able to find all the parts. What do you got on this one, Hunter? Does Gus Malzahn pull off the upset?
Oh, I think so. I think that this is two teams that are trending in different directions. Obviously, Texas Tech is rolling out 30 different quarterbacks out, and I think UCF, they've secured some big wins these last few weeks. They're a different team with John Rush Plumlee back at the helm. He's going to have them rolling. They're going to go into one of the worst towns in America and dominate one of the most overrated schools I've ever seen in my life.
All right. At 7 p.m. on Fox from Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa, the number 7 Texas Longhorns to travel to take on the biggest thorn in their side, the Iowa State Cyclones. The Cyclones have been talking all kinds of smack. If there was ever a week to put bulletin board material up, it'd be this week. Iowa State has gone and done everything and just talked all this game up. And I'm going to sum this up in one word because I know Hunter doesn't like picking this game. He's going to pick Texas to win, right? It's not going to be pretty. It's Iowa State. It's at night. It's Ames. But T'Vondre Sweat, he's going to be the first-round draft pick defensive lineman from Texas. The left guard for Iowa State talked all week. He's talked about how they're a bunch of entitled 5-stars and all this, and how they're going to come up here and it's going to be dark or whatever. And T'Vondre Sweat answered with one thing. He said 7 p.m.
Byron Murphy said that.
Byron Murphy said that. I'm sorry. Byron Murphy said 7 p.m. And if you ever seen Byron Murphy's arms, you'd be scared of him. All right. He's a scary-looking dude. So 7 p.m. And I think Texas feels they're making themselves feel like the underdog because they haven't beat them in the last 5 times. The last time Texas is ever going to play Iowa State right here, and they're going to kick the what out of them.
Man, I hope so.
Yep.
I hate picking this game. I'll let y'all.
All right. Yep. All right. Well, you're picking. I know you're going to be pulling for Texas, so we're going to pick Texas. That's how it works. I think Texas gets a solid W here. Leave no doubt, right? This is a leave no doubt game.
There's never a time to not have some fourth quarter theatrics. It's this one.
Yep. All right. Since we're going to leave no doubt, we're going to leave this game. We're going to leave this conference. Just like Texas and Oklahoma, we're leaving this conference. But this time,
Oklahoma State and Houston.
We're covering that in the.
Oh, that's in the Big 8?
Yeah.
Why did you choose that?
You got to trust the method to my madness here. You have no faith in your father, dude.
Okay. All right.
All right. We're traveling over to the American Conference, Hunter. I'm going to cover the American Conference here.
Thunder playing the Warriors.
Well, Jude's even bored with this one.
I don't know. I was just telling my kid.
I'm giving you a hard time. All right, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Oh, sorry, 8 p.m. My eyes are failing me. On ESPN2 from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, the South Florida Bulls travel to take on the UTSA Roadrunners and what might be Jeff Traylor's last home game as UTSA's coach. I'm going to take the Roadrunners by a large margin here. Lots of wins. All right. On Saturday from FAU Stadium in beautiful Boca Raton, Florida. If you're going to retire, Boca Raton is a nice place. The number 24 Tulane Green Wave travel to take on Tom Herman, his binder, and the Florida Atlantic Owls. I think Tulane wins by 2 touchdowns. On Saturday, also at 11 a.m. on ESPN News or ESPN Plus, however you choose to take in your ESPN, from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, Annapolis, Maryland, the East Carolina Ice Pirates travel to take on the Navy Midshipmen. Navy's going to win this game by a sizable margin. 6 points. 6 points.
We take those.
Also at 11 a.m. on ESPN2, that's the Deuce from Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. The My Little Ponies of SMU travel to take on the Memphis Tigers. SMU's going to kill Memphis in this game. This is going to be close. SMU's going to score 40 points. Memphis in the 20s.
I'm going to go for a high score right here. This should have been the 8th game, by the way, not freaking Oklahoma State.
Will you shush? This is my conference. I choose my conference. At 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Jerry Richardson Stadium in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, the Rice Owls travel to take on the Charlotte 49ers. I'm going with the upset. The 49ers going to get the W. At 2 p.m. from Chapman Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma, North Texas and Tulsa play. North Texas is going to get the win, but not by much. And our afternoon cap here from Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama, 2 p.m. The UAB Blazers host the Temple Owls. I want to lean Temple so bad, but I think UAB is going to get the win. And I think it's going to be a 3-point win. That's going to wrap up the American Conference. With one conference left, Hunter, And what do we call that one conference?
The Fun Belt.
The Fun Belt. He is exactly right. We were traveling to the Sun Belt. And as soon as ESPN loads this app, we'll talk about.
I got it. I can do it.
Do we need to cover UL? Huh?
I'll skip over
we need to
UL
cover-
Malone, Ole Miss. I mean,
Do we need to cover that one again? Do we need to cover Coastal and Army?
I gave my analysis already.
All right. Southern Mississippi State. What do you got on this one?
So this is it obviously hasn't been a rivalry game for probably the last 20 years, maybe more like 10 years, really. Southern Mississippi State. God, Lindsay, you're right. That is a tongue twist. I was gonna make fun of you, but I can't pronounce it right. Anyway, I think Southern Miss has a chance. They've reeled off two straight wins, I think, and they're fighting. Mississippi State just fired their coach, and I don't think this is gonna be one of those like addition by subtraction features. Mississippi State's lost 2 head coaches in the span of approximately 14 months, which is very hard to recover from. I don't like their offense. I think Southern Miss is gonna, Mississippi State's gonna be all worried about who's gonna be the coach next year. Is it gonna be this guy or that guy? I think Southern Miss comes out and beats Mississippi State. I'm going to call for the Fun Belt upset one last time.
All right. Hunter at 2 p.m. from Centennial Bank Stadium in Jonesboro, Arkansas. The Texas State Bobcats travel to take on the Arkansas State Red Wolves. What do you got on this one? I know you don't like picking Texas games. Do you like picking Texas State games?
I love picking Texas State games because the Bobcats are going to go into the Red Wolf den and eat their young. They're going to crush the Arkansas State Red Wolves. It's going to be like 77-65, but the Bobcats are going to nab this win, and we're probably going to lose our coach in the process.
All right, on 2:30 p.m. on the NFL Network from Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy, Alabama, the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns travel to take on the men of Troy, the Troy Trojans. What do we got, Hunter?
I think the Troy Trojans are going to go ahead and slay the Ragin' Cajuns. Louisiana at one point had a pretty sizable lead on the Sun Belt East race or Sun Belt West race. Sorry about that, but they've let it evaporate, and now they're in position to they're playing probably the second best team in all the Sun Belt, and I think they're going to go ahead and lay the smackdown on the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns.
All righty, at 5 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Allen E. Paulson Stadium in Statesboro, Georgia. The Old Dominion Monarchs travel to take on the Georgia Southern Screaming Eagles. What do you got in this one, Hunter?
A lot of points, I think, that Old Dominion and Georgia Southern both kind of scored back and forth. Georgia Southern secured a win last week coming off of a beatdown by Texas State. I think they're going to go ahead and secure that 7th win, though, in a probably a 45-42. Maybe in the 90s affair, but high 80s, low 90s type of score fest.
All right, at 7 p.m. on ESPN2 from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the Georgia State Panthers travel to take on the LSU Tigers. The Bayou Bengals. Hunter, what you got on this one?
The Tigers by a lot. I mean, Georgia State, I don't know. At one point, I thought they were a really good team, but they've kind of said, hey, we're going to suck. And, of course, they're playing LSU. LSU's defense struggles against Power 5 teams, but Georgia State is not one of those. They're going to score a lot. They're going to score at will. It's going to be over before you know it.
All righty, and that's going to wrap the third quarter. Golf clap. Golf clap from the panel. Golf clap. All righty.
Don't forget about Notre. We already talked about that. Never mind.
Now we're going to get on to some more serious business here. We're keeping up on the chat, Jude.
Yes, 100%. Brian Stewart joined us a while back, and so did JWC Tech. So what's up, Brian? What's up, Jason? But John came in and said hello with Diabolical 58. Pat Paulson came in and said hello.
All righty. We're going to start the fourth quarter. Now, everybody understand the rules of the fourth quarter, right? Each of the panelists will get at least 2 games, maybe 3, depending on how it falls. Huh?
I got one left.
You get 2 turnovers. Now, I'll let you keep your fumble, even though you're a little premature there.
What a shit call.
Can we commit personal fouls?
Sure, why not?
Targeting.
I'll rough the passer if I have to. I don't care.
All right. I'll be pulling the flags on this joint. All right, Hunter, at 11 a.m. on Fox from SECU Stadium in College Park, Maryland. The number 3 Michigan Wolverines travel to take on the Terrapins from Maryland. Michigan is a 19-point favorite. Vegas saying 49.5 points. Does Michigan get the 1,000th win? Are they the first one to the 4-digit win club?
I mean, I think that I know they get that 1,000th win. They're probably gonna run the ball about 48 times this game, throw about maybe once. They're just gonna prove that they can impose their will on any team in the country. They're gonna go ahead and smash the Maryland Terrapins. The Terrapins aren't gonna have anything going for them. It's gonna be like Michigan knows what's coming at them.
Zing! All right. All right. Everybody's being all quiet and coy and everything. All right, Jude, you want a game?
Sure.
If there was a game out there that I would give you, what game would you think that would be?
Let me see. Is it the Victory Bell?
No, it's not. Actually, I got you at 1:30 p.m. Pac-12 Network from Arizona Stadium in Tucson, Arizona. The number 22 Utah Utes travel to take on the number 17 Arizona Wildcats. Arizona's favored by a single point. Vegas says it's going to take 46 in the hook to win this game. What do you got on this one, Jude?
Arizona. Well, we talked about this last week too. 1 point games is like if you pick that team, you're picking up either whoever you pick, you're picking up the cover basically, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to take what was the over under on that?
46.5.
46.5. I'm going to take Arizona to cover the point spread, obviously, and I'm going to take I'll take the over.
All right, Lindsay. You know I always help my buddy out, right? I always take care of my buddy, right?
Absolutely.
Gave you a softball on this. 2:30 p.m. on CBS from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. The number 1 team in the land, the Georgia Bulldogs, travel to take on the Volunteers of Tennessee. Vegas says that Georgia's a 10-point favorite, and it's going to take 58.5 points to play the game. What you got?
I agree with the line on this one. The Bulldogs are going to win this one handily. They're going to cover the spread. I'm going to look at the over, though, because I think there's going to be a high-scoring affair. It'll be a shootout. I don't think that either team's defense is going to be up to the task of holding the other to a low-scoring game.
All righty. Hunter, if there was one game out there that you were saying, Dad, he hated it so much he hung up on me. I got to give Hunter a second here. Can you believe that? He left his own father.
Kids.
I know what he's getting for Christmas this year. Nothing.
Cole. Oh, he's got nothing.
Cole's too expensive. What are you talking about? Welcome back, Hunter. How are you doing, bud?
Sorry about that.
Did you take a trip to the moon or something? What's going on there?
No, I was trying to fix my deal and it actually hit something, I think.
All right, Hunter, if there was one game on the schedule that you would say, Dad, please don't make me cover that game, what game do you think that would be?
You made me talk about Georgia and Tennessee.
No, Lindsay already covered that.
Oh, I missed that one then. You're going to make me talk about Oak State and Houston, aren't you?
Absolutely. How'd you guess that, son? It's like we're related or something.
So I can pick another game.
No, nobody can. You can't give. You can't punt. There's no punts in yet.
There's no punting. All right.
There's no punting yet. All right. At 3 p.m. from
ball.
TDECU Stadium in Houston, Texas, the number 23 Oklahoma State Cowboys travel to take on the Houston Cougars. Vegas says Oklahoma State is a 6.5-point favorite, and they say 56.5 points to play this game. Do you think they get the over?
I'm going to roll with the Ollie Gordon masterclass here. I think Oak State's going to score a bunch, and they're going to keep scoring. They need to win out in order to guarantee a spot in the conference title game. And I think they go ahead and secure a win here against the Houston Cougars. I don't think it's going to be worth watching. But, hey, if you want to tune in to watch a running back run for 300 yards, which I might because I'm sick, this game would be worth watching. But, I don't think H-Town's got anything for the Pokes. Tickets are $3. So if you live in the greater Houston area, you can go disappoint yourself for $3.
All righty. Jude, what game do you think I'd give you? Like, you know, you're my friend, right? Like, I would always hook you up with your game, right?
Yeah, come on, let's go.
What game? Do you think I gave it to you?
Well, I hope so.
No, Lindsay. Hey,
Huh?
at 2:30 p.m. on ABC from Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, we have the UCLA Bruins traveling to take on the USC Trojans.
Man, SC
Wait
doesn't have a
for-
defense. How am I going to get a turnover?
Do I hear interception? Is there an interception here?
Interception!
All right, intercept this one, Jude.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I
so
purposely
what
did
you
this
do
because I knew
is-
Jude was going to do this. I knew it. I had to do it. I had to. You know, I had to.
Until we get a bowl game, this is our announce what bowl we're going to. This is going to be the last game we play this season. It's in the Coliseum. Man, I don't know what time Surfer Dude's schedule or games are this weekend, but if he has the early schedule, we might just beeline down to the Coliseum and try to get some, $60 tickets. I think they're going for like $60 or $65 or something like that. Doesn't
But
matter.
I have only one request. If you go to the game, you got to do a quick short, and we'll get it up on the channel.
All right, for sure, absolutely. But SC's a 6-point favorite. They're gonna.
Yeah.
It's not going to be close. It's a rivalry game. It doesn't matter if we don't have a defense. We're going to stop UCLA. And Anthony GM85 just showed up. What's up, G-Man?
Tony from HR.
20 from HR. But SC is going to make up for the last 2 weeks and for the 2 weeks before the one game in the middle. Man, 4 out of 5 we've lost. But we're going to come out and we're going to absolutely dominate Chip Kelly. They're not going to have anything for us. They are not going to be able to stop us. And our defense, I mean, it's going to be one of those rivalry games where anybody who was any local talent at the game, getting ready that was thinking about going to UCLA is going to be like, oh, hell no, I'm not going there next year. And they're all going to end up at USC this year. We are going to smoke them. It's not going to be a pretty game. I promise you.
All right, Lindsay, do you want to fumble? You want to strip this ball and fumble and recover this fumble here? Or do you want to go on to the next game?
Let's go on to the next one. I think you can cover that.
All right, Jude. Now I would hook you up, right? So
Yeah.
at 6:30 p.m. on ABC from Reser Stadium in Corvallis, Oregon, the number 5 Washington Huskies travel to take on the number 11 Oregon State Beavers. Vegas says that Oregon State's favored by 1, and it's going to take 62.5 points to play this game. Hunter.
Much like the Oregon State defense, I will intercept this game.
All right, Hunter, let's hear
You
it.
did this on purpose. I mean, I think that this is going to be the game where, DJU has the opportunity to finally put an exclamation point on why he should be considered a top quarterback. I mean, it looks like everyone in the state of Oregon is going to this game. Tickets as low as $167. It means the cheap seats in a not that big of a stadium are going to be quite expensive. It's actually a very nice stadium, very small though. But like I said, it's a very nice stadium. Anyway, I think Oregon State's going to go ahead and, they play a really good pass defense. They're a tough, gritty team. They have a quarterback who believes in himself. And I think Washington's been playing with fire with those close games, much like you talk about with Texas. You can talk about with Texas. Washington has won only one game in their last 5 by 10 points. And they can't play silly like you can for some of the teams they've beaten. Oregon State is a very serious team, very hard to beat, and they run the ball extremely well. Something that Utah did really well against Washington was run the ball. And I think Oregon State's going to exploit that. And I don't think they're going to make the mistakes that Utah did. I think DJU is a much better quarterback than Bryson Barnes. And I'm going to go with Oregon State here by at least 7 points. And I think they're going to lead most of it, if not the entire game. And Washington CFP hopes will die on the field in Corvallis, Oregon.
All right, Jude, do you want to strip this one from him and use your other turnover, or you want to save it?
Yeah, I am going to strip that from him, and I'm only going to say something real quick at the end. Real quick synopsis. Don't take the over, don't take the under. It is going to be a wash because but I'm sorry, over under. Don't take the winning by 1 or versus, it's going to be the final score is going to be 32-31 for 63 points. Go take the under, but take Oregon State to win the game by 1 point. And they're going to be under the over-under by half a point.
Oh, we got the double push.
So Jude's out of turnovers. Hunter's down to 1, and Lindsay's sitting pretty with both of them. He's got just as many turnovers as the Pac-12 has teams.
Zinger.
Hey. All right, Hunter, if there was another game that I would have you cover that you say, Dad, why are you doing this? What game do you think that would be?
Is it North Carolina and Clemson?
No, come on, silly. I'm talking about number 21, Kansas State, and number 25, Kansas, playing at 6 p.m. on FS1 from David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium in Lawrence, Kansas.
I think so. Like the last 27 years, K-State's won this matchup. Kansas doesn't have. I don't know if Jason Bean's even going to be able to play in this game. They don't have Jalen Daniels. He's already been shut down.
He's practicing. He's practicing. Jason Bean practicing this week.
Then they have a chance. But I mean, look, K-State is a better team overall. They haven't suffered the losses that Kansas has. Kansas did secure that big win against Oklahoma, but it seems to be the high water mark of their season. And it looks like everything that brought them there is starting to come apart. I think Kansas will fight pretty tough in this game, but I like K-State to win. I say take Kansas to cover the minus 9.5 point spread, but K-State to win, Kansas to cover, and I like the over.
All right, Lindsay. I haven't talked to you in a minute, right? So,
Yeah. Sorry.
I saved some stuff for you, right?
Okay.
And this is gonna really piss Hunter off. That's really why I did this. But at 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile, Alabama, the Marshall Thundering Herd travel to take on the University of South Alabama. Lindsay, Vegas has South Alabama as a 10.5 point favorite, and they're saying 48.5 points to play the game. What do you have on this one?
I have that this might be another one of those rather exciting games for the weekend that'll be worth watching. I see this one as being closer than how the lines have it. So I don't think that the Jaguars are going to cover the spread, though I do think they'll win. I go for the under, which is sitting at 48.5 right now.
All right, Lindsay. Now, I like you so much. I didn't give you just one G5 game of the week. I gave you 2 G5 games of the week at 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Bridgeforth Stadium in Zane Showalker Field in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The App State Mountaineers travel to take on the Dukes from James Madison. Vegas says the Dukes are favored by 9, and it's going to take 56.5 of those points to win the game, to play the game. What do you got in this one, Lindsay?
I'm trying to find the game here. Hold on.
He's scanning as fast as he can.
Why
Folks, the
can't I find
internet,
the
the keyboard is on fire
Why can't I find it?
because it's so awesome. It's hiding from me.
That's what it is. It's such an awesome game that ESPN.com did not list it on their list of games.
It's
for week
there.
12.
It's there. I think your eyesight is failing you.
That wouldn't surprise me. I know my memory's going. My feet are bad. My knees are bad. Everything's bad.
Well, next thing you know, we're going to take you out back and put
Just-
you down like the dog.
Because none of us are guaranteed tomorrow.
Well, I mean, we're all guaranteed tomorrow. We just might not be breathing.
I mean, the rest of us have tomorrow.
All right, Lindsay, while you look for this, Hunter's stripping the ball from you currently.
Okay.
Even though it's a little out of place. Hunter, go ahead and help Lindsay out.
I wasn't going to strip the ball. I was going to let him talk about this. The analytics have James Madison at a 73.5% favorite compared to App State's 26.5. App State's rattled off 3 straight wins after looking like that they could be on the search for a new coach. GMU's obviously started to really pull away from their competition, but if there's a team left on their schedule that can beat them, it'd be the App State Mountaineers. They're a tough team. They play hard. I think what kind of hurts App State is that obviously this game is in Bridgeforth, Virginia. But you know what? I think the Mountaineers go ahead and keep it close. I think JMU still pulls away with the win. And I guess I'm going to use my extra 10 seconds here to talk about the circumstances that JMU faces. While I do agree that it sucks that they can't play in the postseason, at least outright, They did agree to the terms that the NCAA offered when they went to move up. And just because you're undefeated doesn't mean you get to avoid the terms of a contract that you signed.
All right. So over under, do they play in a bowl game or not? Yes or no?
They're going to play in a bowl game because a bunch of teams are going to finish 5-7.
Do they play Liberty in a bowl game and they have the de facto G5 national championship?
Well, Liberty is competing for a spot in a CFP game. They need Tulane to slip up, obviously, but if they're 13-0 and Tulane is 11-2, for example, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but they would obviously be the highest ranked G5 team, I believe. Not CFP, sorry, New Year's Six. But no, I don't think that they'll be matching up. But if they do, that will be the G5 national championship. Of course, then again, Tulane would have something to say about that. Anyway.
All right, Lindsay, you got anything on this game?
I like the Dukes in this one. They're going to continue to roll. I agree that Appalachian State will give them a good fight, but I don't see that being enough to keep the Dukes from winning. So I like that. I like that the Dukes are going to easily cover the spread. The over-under is 56.5. Look for the over.
Here's my impersonation of App State's head coach at the end of the game. Damn Dukes. Damn Dukes. Throws that on the ground.
Oh, man. Jude.
He could pull a Trading Places. Like, it was the Dukes. It was the Dukes.
All right. For the worst 5 minutes in all of YouTube podcasting, the game of the week that does not matter. Now, the neat thing about the game of the week that does not matter, we got two.
Two of them?
And two of them. We'll start with the guy sitting to my left or right, depending on how you're looking at it. Lindsay.
Scott, I last week I did a wonderful active chance and actually got on my first try. I will also get this one on my first try. I know that for a fact the game that doesn't matter is the Sam Houston Bearcats and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. You're welcome. Yes.
All right, we got another game. We have one more. Oh, man, we're going to take a break from hanging out with each other. You got me pinned.
And yet it never came up.
I didn't pick the game until 5 minutes before the show started. I was like, I got to pick, got to have a clear mind. All right, Hunter, what's the other game of the week that does not matter?
It has to be Sacred Heart versus the UConn Huskies.
That is a good pick. It's not right, but that's a good pick. That game does not matter whatsoever. All right, Jude, what's the game of the week that does not matter?
I'm going to go with Nevada at Colorado State.
That's a good pick also, but no, that's not it. All right, Lindsay, you want to go 2 and barbecue on this one?
Oh, let me see if I can. I was amazed that I'm on such a hot roll here. Let me see if I can muster up the Boise State Broncos and the Utah State Aggies.
Man, that's a good guess, but that's not right. All right, Hunter, what do you got, bud?
The Abilene Christian Wildcats against the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies.
As much as I want to say you're right, I'll almost pick that game. That's not right. All right, Jude, what you got?
How about the North Texas Mean Green at the Tulsa Golden Hurricane?
Yeah.
All right.
That's it for the week. Oh, we got out in 3 rounds.
Well, we're getting better.
Teams are getting worse.
More shitty games available.
Next week, we may have to go to 3 games just to add some length to it. The problem is, if we go 3 games, we'd be on for another 90 minutes. We'd have covered every game, and y'all would still be like, what game is it? And I'm like, it's New Mexico State, New Mexico. All
that
right.
game matters. It's a rivalry game.
All right, that's going to wrap the show. We'll start with the last one in as the first one out. Let's, Lindsay.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Great to see everyone in the chat. I love the lively conversation. Keep the questions and your comments coming. Remember, you can't spell college football without a B.
Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. It was fun. Hope to see you guys next week. Bowl season coming. That's the fun. Our bowl special was fun last year as well. So look forward to that coming up. But we are SC. Fight on. B is for victory. Remember, you can't spell SEC without the letters S and C. Fight on. Go Georges.
All right.
As always, go Navy. Beat East Carolina. Hook 'em horns and eat 'em up cats.
Alrighty, that's our show for this week. Stay tuned for a video I promised about a week ago talking about our Heisman giveaway, which you'll win a shirt and a gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings and probably some other cool stuff in there. So we'll look for that video coming out sometime this week, and we thank you for your patronage. And as always, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.